So this is the little bit that's for you to play along with when you're listening to the track, to add your own solo to. And then we come up to the outro coming up now. Okay, how cool is that? So that's the advanced one, okay? So that's going to take us a few years to get to that, and Jen's going to talk to that a bit later, between what's the difference between the slow and the advanced solos. But so we'll come to that. So let's just go back to minor swing to reviewing what the actual chord structure is. And if you've got your swag there, can I encourage you to open to that page, and on your Songworks sheet, you know, on the chord sequence, actually write in what the chord sequence in. So for minor swing, it's a really nice repeating A form. And so you only have to remember that little sequence which is in the middle of your page. I'll bring up the chart right now. Okay, so we've got our intro for minor swing, which that was a fantastic job of that. Very different to how we did it last time, wasn't it? And here's our form here in the middle. This is
Hey, Anu, so
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure where to hop in. I just wanted to let you know you've got streaming issues at your end. There was a little bit of slowing down and catching up on the track. But it was okay overall. But there were just a few, just so you're aware, if we're playing along with you on something, we might kind of be left behind and then be running to catch up.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should get you to stream more, because there does seem to be an internet problem here. Okay, so yeah, note down what this form is, because it's a very nice, easy repeating form. Put it into your little chord box on your third page there. Above that, you've got form, so it's just a repeating A form. And this just guides your brain to start remembering the form and start embedding it, if you can write those little ideas down. So let's just play through that form first. So you can do these lovely open folk chords, or I will bring up the next chart now. You've got it there in your swag as well, but if you want to start putting the minor 6 chords in, even if you want to take one of these minor 6 chords, write that into your chord substitution box on your Songworks sheet, so you can start to integrate at least one new song. And that's our goal with Gypsy Jazz, is to try and make closed chord positions that are dry to the comp. We need to make them nice and succinct, not ringing out. So maybe right now, pick a chord if you haven't already done the D minor 6 shape or the A minor 6 shape, and just add that into what you're going to start practicing for this form. And let's just play through nice and slowly from here, the form from the A minor 6. So I'll count us in 1, 2, 3, 4. To the D minor 6. E7, A minor 6, D minor 6, A minor 6, E7, A minor 6 for 1, E7. Let's do it one more time from the top. A minor 6. E7. A minor 6. D minor 6. A minor 6. E7, okay, so that's our basic form, and what we're referring to that in the swag is the cake, and that is the most important part, really. So if you're just happy to do that, that is fantastic. You don't need to do any of this other soloing work. It's really important we have people very skilled with the cake. A nice solid dry crumbly cake that you can hang on and you can remember that form, counting it, because you have to, that little turnaround, that's how you count. And in our solo we've got 4 lots of that form, but I understand in Gypsy Jazz jams that could go on for a very long time. Is that right, Jen? They might
yeah. Like I used to, when in my old band, the Great Chefs of Europe, where I was the rhythm player, the lead guitarist would, on something like Minor Swing, those guys would go around 5, 6, 7 times before they handed the solo on to the next person. And it's like, at least Minor Swing's like kind of like one form, but those ones like Sweet Sue that sort of have the AA and the BA, and then you get AAA, and you start falling asleep at the wheel, and you're in the middle of these A's, and you're thinking, when do I play the B? And if I get this wrong, they're going to kill me. It's really hard to keep counting on the inside.
Okay, so before we go and just play that along with the backing track, let's just look at the chord sequence again. I'll just share the screen. Oops, wrong one, sorry. I'll stop that share. We'll come back in here. Okay, so there's our sequence written out there. Here's the chords you might like to start integrating, and I just want to mention here with your minor 6 chords, I've been fascinated to just see how these shapes repeat. So we've got this shape, and then we've got this other shape that's very similar, but it's that's the same shape there, but it also reverses. Where does it reverse? Here. So it's very similar, but it's these two are the other way. So for the uke geeks, this is something to drill, all the A minor 6s. And so you can, when we're doing a repetitive comp like this one, test yourself. Put in some of these other shapes going up and down the neck, and make it more interesting so that you're starting to work these extra Gypsy Jazz chords in. So, and there's just a little drill. We might just go through this before we just have a play. This is just a little intro outro practice. As you notice, the intro is different, similar triads, but is different formatted to the outro. So let's just start from the bottom here. We're using the A minor triad, so 2, 3, 4, to the D minor triad, to the E7, E trade, F7, whoops, messed that up, let's try it again. So that's just the F7, there's your E7, so you're making an F7 shape. Takes a bit to get that finger off. Let's try it one more time. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's just a little, I don't think we're going to do the intro now. We'll come to that later. So let's just have a go with your form, and we'll go through a couple of times with the backing track. So let me just bring up here. So we're going to do it at 120 because to do the chords, when you're doing the triads, you want to start out nice slow on the 90 backing track, but just to do the comp, it just drags too much. So let's try it along with this. A minor 6, quite fast, D minor 6, E7, A minor 6, D minor 6, A minor 6, E7, A minor, one more time, D minor, E7, A minor, D minor, A minor, A minor. I'm just going to stop that just to see if it's not lagging too much. Any feedback? Is that okay? Can't hear anybody. Karen's got...
Honey,
Yes.
it
keeps getting out of sync.
and then it slows down and then it speeds up again.
Yeah, sorry about that. I can't really do anything. But okay, well, let's leave it there. But you can see how trying even just to work that to the backing track and remember where you are is quite a task. So work your form. You can do it at the 90 BPM, but do work it to that form as well, that speed.
Anu, can I just ask you about that turnaround?
Yeah.
The A minor 6 and the E7 at the end. Your strum it sounds really good when you do that. Are you doing anything slightly different in the strum to achieve that lovely effect of the turnaround?
It's probably not very gypsy jazz, is it, Jen?
It's really good.
Do you know what? We've got an alternative way of playing it written in the intro now, where we go. It's on the F7 to the E7.
Oh, yeah.
Up, down, up. So you could just go up, down, up, down. Yeah. So you'll find one of those alternative rhythms because there's heaps of special little rhythms that you can do. And yeah, it was gypsy jazz. You've been practicing this stuff so hard. But it's in there now.
Yeah.
It's in
This
there.
course is paying off.
I'm glad you're getting your money's worth.
I'm glad you are too, Sally.
Hey, and Jeff, like further to that, like I don't know if we'll get to be at Magnetic Island next year. We're hoping, and I'm not sure whether you can come or not, but that would be the kind of thing that we would really look at. Okay, that's the next level with the strumming. When we're all sitting together, what are the variations in the style that really dress it up and stop it being like too pedestrian? So it's just pedestrian, so we can all play together in an ensemble at the moment. But there's lots more that we can learn to do.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah.
But you can see that's the body of our work, is to get that comp really nice and dry. And if that's as much as you want to do with this course, that's fantastic, because that's what we really need, is a whole lot of people doing that. So let's move on now. Saying that, let's move on to the icing. which is starting out with the A minor scale sheet, which is page 10 in your swag. Okay, so now Jen's made a bit of a description of why we're using a natural minor and the harmonic minor descending. We're going up on the ascending and down. We've written it like that to save space, but go the other way too. Explore what's the difference between these two scales. And a little heads up there, it's just the G and the G sharp. So the G sharp has that exotic sound, the natural minor doesn't. So there's a bit of an explanation in your swag of when to use which. But Jen, would you like to play that through for us?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So you can practice it this way, which is kind of like a classical way of practicing these scales, where you ascend on the natural and you descend on the harmonic minor, and then you can reverse that. So you can play it the way that it's written, but you can also practice just going up and down on the minor and then up and down on the harmonic minor. And so to start off, we've got singles, which is a traditional way of playing the scales. Then we go into doubles, going up in steps of 3 and going up in steps of 4. And you'll find when we start doing the doubles and the 3s and the 4s that the harmonic minor is really tricky under your 3rd and your 4th finger here. So it's a little bit of a workout. Don't be too concerned if you can't get this very fast, because when we're actually playing it in the solos, as you'll find in my set solos, you don't have to do a lot of that. Alrighty, let's hop in and play that with no further ado. Should I do this with a backing track or just slowly?
Let's go nice and slow without a backing track for now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. When I get to here, I've got to get up to the 7th fret. I'm going to take my pinky up there and then bring my pinky back. Now we're coming down the harmonic minor. There's that awkward 4th finger to 3rd finger. That's a harmonic minor note again, which gives you that exotic sound. And then we've got a chord on the end. Now when you're practicing this, if you set your metronome or the backing track and you're playing it up and down, you don't have to play that chord every time. That's just to play at the end when you're finished, to remind your ear of what the scale is and where you are. Here we go again. And... Did you notice that I was swinging it? Often when we're starting to do the scales, we just play them straight, but I was just swinging it then right from the start. So some notes are closer together than you might be used to playing them. Let's play it through once straight so we can just feel the difference. And... You'll notice that it's easier to play when you don't swing it. But when we're using it in our solos in this music, you do want to have that da, 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 da rhythm if you can manage it. Let's hop into the doubles now. This is easier because we're going to play every note twice, so it's going to go by slower. Oh, and by the way, if you can't keep up with my speed, everybody in this room in this Zoom room is at a different level. So feel free just to play it slower or faster, kind of move through at your own time as well. Here we go. And... faux A minor at the end as well. I did want to say that that's the easiest one to play, by the way. So if this is all really new for you, or you haven't been playing a lot of scales, just play the doubles to start off with until you feel comfortable. And there's a lot of music in there. Okay, and we're not going to do the fours today because we want to cover a lot of work, but we're going to do the threes. So here we go. It's got a little bit of a bounce. By the way, this rhythmic pattern that we've written, da da da, da da da, da da da, is just one of the ways you could play it. You know, if you're one of the more advanced people in the room, you could go, just keep them all even. Oh, I'm doing triplets now. So yeah, feel free to play it straight. The nice thing about this rhythm that we've written, it fits in with our triad embellishments, and it's like a musical phrase we can use in our solos, which at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Being able to play set solos in your groups that we've arranged for you, or to be able to put these things together so you can have some fun yourselves and improvise with the blocks. Here we go. Threes. And. Oh, whoops, sorry, wrong position. Start again. And. I was just thinking, if you've got arthritis in your fingers, if you've got older fingers with arthritis, I'm aware that this scale might be a bit horrible for you, but there's lots of other things in the swag that you can enjoy. So don't feel like you have to master this harmonic minor scale to be able to swing. I was just trying to be
Jen,
complete
with
in the
the
study.
picking for that, do you go down, and then go down, up, down again?
Yes, Sally, that's right.
Okay.
So you're going down on the quarter notes on the main beats and up on the off beats.
Okay.
Having said that, if we were really studying gypsy jazz seriously, there's this wacky kind of picking that you do that's just for gypsy jazz. It's quite advanced, and I was thinking of waiting till we're all together at Magnetic Island before introducing that. Yeah, because there's a certain way of playing with lots and lots of down picks, and yeah. I thought it's too hard to do it on the screen and not necessary at the level we're playing at.
Great, thanks for that, Jen. There is the next page in your swag takes that A minor scale up the neck into the 7, 7, 8, 9 shape. So again, just pick where, just master it in the first position first, especially so you can just do it. One thing I've been having fun is just making little ditties out of that A minor scale, just so you can really start to relax into the form before you start taking it up onto that next position.
Can you show us one, Anu? Have you got one in the tip of your fingers?
I don't have one on me at the moment, Jen, no.
Sorry, I just threw that on you. Sprung it on you.
Okay, so, but what we wanted to move to now is the triad. So we'll just share the screen. Now here's our lovely triads again. Now I find it really useful to identify the chord shape at the top of your page so you can see where we're deriving these triad shapes from. So play through these different shapes and just kind of clock where the shape is, because that's what we're using to tab these triad single shapes out that we're doing now. So I always find that really useful to keep connecting the shape with the broken up triad here. So let's just have a play. We have done this one. Oops, dropped my pick. We have done this one before. So starting on the 3, I'll count us in 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. With your second finger, just for now. E7, A minor, D minor shade, A minor shade, E7, A minor. I'm just going to check in with you. Is everybody kind of cluey now about what we're doing there with the basic triads? Anybody not? So we're just taking that closed position chord and breaking it up into a sort of an arpeggio. And if you, at any point, if we're doing a solo, especially with the ones coming up, see if you can revert to that basic triad, remembering where that is. If it's getting too much for you, just keep coming back to clocking that triad shape and just play that. That's fantastic practice. So we'll just go back. We'll try the neighbor tone below. Now, once you've sort of started to memorize that, this is always the same pattern, neighbor tone below. I guess you've figured that out by now. It's just always the semitone below. So let's have a play of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. The D minor, A minor, E7, let's do it again from the top. A minor, E7, A minor. Okay, and I just want to say, when I started to wanting to learn this with Tracy Kim, that was a mystery to me, you know. I had to really be very familiar with that chord shape before that made sense to me. So the good thing about that is the more those chord shapes and triads are used a lot. So once you have memorized them and really got them familiar, we will use that in so many different ways in the work that's coming. So I'm going to pass you on to Jen now to do the neighbor tone above. And there's a little explanation in your swag about this.
So on the Tracy Kim original page, he had a neighbor tone above, like a different kind of version of it that went over 2 bars. I've brought it back to just a single, look, up, da 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 kind of riff, similar to the other ones that we've been doing. And there are some special, for the newer people in the group, there are some special rules. If you're completely befuddled by why it would be 1 step above, you know, like a half step or a whole step above, feel free to send me an email. I'm just putting my email in the chat. I'll do the Hotmail one. It just came out under my fingers. Yeah, anyone who's new and wants to just ask me, I've got a little document with the rules on it at home. So I'm very happy to share that with you. Should I do this with the backing track, Anu, or just take it slow?
Let's just take it slow first and then we'll try.
Yeah. Oh, then we'll do all of them with the backing track. Okay, that's right. I remember our plan. Okay, so on the minor chords, very quickly, it's a tone above on the root and the 5th of the chord, and I think we're doing a tone. No, we're doing a tone above for all of them. On the E7 chord, it's a semitone or a half step above. All right, here we go. And D minor, E7, just an E, no seventh, back to the A minor, D minor, A minor, E, last one. So a couple of things about this. The number in the brackets down below is for people with a low G string as an option. So if you have a high G ukulele, you can still just play this on the high 3 strings and get a really nice sound. It's also easier when we're starting to learn it. But we leave out the sevenths and the sixes and things. We just do like a basic triad. So someone could be playing an A minor 6 chord, but you just play this simplified embellishment, and that's what creates the beautiful sound. So it's an intentional thing.
Thanks for clarifying that, Jen, because it is confusing when you're learning the A minor 6 chord and then you actually triading on just the A minor shape. So
yeah, the idea is that when we go to play lead, that we're doing something that's a little bit simplified, and it now allows us to do those embellishments.
So we're going to have a break, so you can go and get a cup of tea. But before we do that, let's just go through the really slow 90 BPM backing track, and we'll play through each of these triad sets twice. Jen, I might get you to do that if I've got a lag.
Sure.
Are you able to bring up that backing track, the 90 BPM, without the solo on it?
Yeah, I've got it ready to go. Yeah, I've got an iReal Pro one, so let's just hear that the volume's okay before we start. How's that?
Just go back to, yeah, that's good. I'll go back to the first sheet, the triads.
So we might need to pause between the second and third sheets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do each one twice. You right there, Jen?
Oh yeah. Oh, you're not going to put the sheet up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I'm not screen sharing. Where have I gone? Number 12. There we go. Okay.
Okie dokie. All right, so we're going to be starting off with just playing single notes. We're tracing out the shape of the triad, and then we start to embellish it after that with neighbour tone below and neighbour tone above. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. And we change pages?
Oh, we change pages. All right.
If you're finding these ones a bit hard, just stay with the easiest one. So if you can't do the neighbour tone below with the speed of the track, just stay on the singles. Or likewise, you could just stay with neighbour tone below while we're doing neighbour tone above. And you'll notice on your pages, although we're not doing it right now, we also have the combo. I'll give a little demo. I'll give a little demo of that now. So the combo, this is the one combo that we're doing in this course, but there are other ways to do combos as well. So if you come across other combos, if you're doing extra study, yes, there's a bunch of different ways, but this is just one that we've learned, and it's a very musical way to play through the triads, but it's quite hard. So you get the below and the above on each note of the triad. So yeah, it just sounds really beautiful. But that's something that perhaps you can work on your own a bit later. So popping the backing track on, and we'll do neighbour tone above. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. There we go.
Great, thanks, Jen.
How was that, everyone? That new neighbour tone above? Was that good? It's nice, isn't it? Because that other one that Tracy does is da 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 da. Almost sang it right. Yeah, it's quite a long pattern. You need 2 bars to play it, whereas this is a 1-bar pattern, so it's cool.
Thank you. Okay, so it's cup of tea time. So I'm going to go and get a cup of tea, and we are going to finish this section with a little go through Sweet Georgia Brown. So if you want to revisit anything, how are you going with that solo? Has anybody mastered that solo yet? Yeah, no. But we might just have a little play and a little sing to take it out with, because it's such a fun song to sing. So you might want to get your Sweet Georgia Brown swag out as well. And we will see you in about 10 minutes or so. Okay. See you soon.
Okay. Anu, can I just say that was really a good experience for me playing through that. And I just stuck with the neighbour tone below, which I'm a little bit more familiar with. But it was nice to hear that musically, that it did actually sound okay with the neighbour tone above, and we're playing along with that, because otherwise it's hard to sort of see whether it does make sense or not. But that was nice to be able to do today. So thanks, Jen, for that.
So yeah, that's good feedback. Yeah, it will all start to come together. I promise you.
We'll get together, Di, and do it. That's even better.
What's that, Marvin?
We'll get together and do it.
Yeah, I think it is. That's what's nice about playing with it.
Kath, would you like to do that?
Yes, I'd love to.
Oh, fantastic. Have you been practicing that?
No, but every time the basketball players play, they play Sweet Georgia Brown and they whistle. So
And
I know the solo.
how are you going with the solo? Because I know you've been working hard on that.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm still not up to the really fast speed. I've been working on something else too, so that's good.
I just wanted to say with Sweet Georgia Brown, Yeah, it was probably what I wrote for the swag wasn't ideal. At that point, I wasn't thinking about the ongoing sessions. I was thinking about capping off our 5 week course and the warm ups, like say 9 week course. And I wanted something aspirational in there for people to go on with. But then because we did that as our first one in these ongoing sessions, it had a lot of really difficult things in it.
Yeah, and what I found too is that after I did the Sweet Georgia Brown one, when I went back to the first one that we did for Dark Eyes, it was much easier. I said, this thing is just a breeze. It's only very short.
Yeah. So that is the advantage of stretching yourself and trying something harder. Then when you go back to other work, it definitely does make it easier. But there are those solos at the end there. That was I guess that's aspirational. And I was just wanting to tie things off with a bow and say, okay, well, we didn't really get into the augmented stuff and applying these things and putting in all the harder embellishments and stuff so people could see how all of those things worked. But I've actually ended up writing something that's too hard, so I apologise for that.
Jen, I think we should have a competition for who can actually play the Sweet Georgia Brown solo next July.
Yeah, what will be the prize?
A 6-month lead in on that solo is we might have a majority actually playing it by then.
That would be really cool. I'd love to hear that.
All right, so let's move on to, we're going to go to page 14, which is mixing scales and triads in your swag. And, oops, no, it's not that one, sorry. Okay, so this is really interesting. We have put quite a detailed description in your swag of what Jen is actually doing here. So it's fun for you to start to recognize where the neighbor tone below is, where the combo is, and start where the scales are. And so you can start to see how a solo is put together. So Jen's going to take us quickly through this, just so that you get the feel of what we're doing and how she's writing her solos.
Yeah, so when I finished writing this one, it kind of felt quite musical, and so I ended up putting it into the fast solo as well, because I thought, oh, it actually sounds like I've written a solo almost. That just goes to show, like, if you take some scale fragments and some neighbor tone stuff, some triad embellishment, and just put a couple of other little passing notes and things in there, presto, you've got a solo. Like that's how easy it is. Sometimes the solos that I'm writing for you are showing you things that I do in my playing and kind of giving you some more aspirational stuff to do. But this one is you can really deconstruct this and make up your own. So I hope for some of you in the group you'd like to do that. Now, there's one tiny edit in this one that needs to happen. This is the only one that slipped through the keeper when we were trying to proofread it. In bar 2, that 4-3-4-5, the 4-3 should be joined as quavers, the first 4-3. So it's got the same rhythm as the others. It's written, that's bar 2. Yeah, so it should actually just keep the same neighbor tone bounce going that we always do. So if you go to the beginning of bar 2, I'll just say that again. The 4 and the 3 on the 3rd string, join them, make them into quavers.
Well, Jen, while we're talking about chart bloopers, there was a question from Di MacArthur about our old minor swing chart, and we have corrected the mistakes in the intro and outro of that. We've put the timing right. Was that what you were referring to, Di MacArthur?
Yeah, that was it, Anu. I just wanted to, because I guess I was using that to start to play off with Jen, and then I realised we had changed that when we were doing the intro.
So these are the new charts in your swag now.
Yeah. Let's one there. Okay, that's good. Thanks.
So Jen, do you want to play this through for us?
Sure can. So we've got. I'll just play it through slowly, and I'll pause and talk a little bit. And before I play, because we're going to be a little bit ad-lib, I'll just, as I did in the scales, I just go and rather than counting a whole bar, so you know I'm about to start playing. Okay, so the first 2 bars are just neighbor tone below, and. D minor. Now, to stop it sounding a bit too da 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 all the way through, we've got a little bit of a scale fragment. This is the harmonic minor scale, but I'm starting and finishing on notes from the E7 chord, which makes it into a fancy mode. But you don't even need to worry about that. If you just launch off on that second, always if you launch off your harmonic minor stuff on that second fret on the first string, it will do it for you without you having to understand about Frege modes. Here we go. So, and. I've got a mixture of eighth notes and quarter notes there, partly it's musical to vary things up, and also to make it a little bit easier. You've just come down that 5 4 5 4. That's really hard work on your little fingers, so we've broken that then down into quarter notes to give you a chance to catch up and a bit of a rest. I'll do that one more time. E7 bar, and then on the A minor chord I'm landing on an A note, and then I'm playing up the A minor scale with a passing note. This is a really common cliche. Often in these early kind of tunes that would go from A minor to the A7 chord and then to D minor. So we, even though it's just 2 bars of A minor, we suggest that in our lead playing, and that's that 6th fret note. It just sounds right. It sounds really cool, and that's why, because it's suggesting the A7 chord to take us to D minor for the theory geeks in the room. So playing that line now, nice and slow, and 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Now the fingers that you go up on that, the most important thing is when you land up on the 7th fret there for the D minor, that you're on your 2nd finger. So you could really, you don't have to play the scale along here. You can see my fingers. I'm just going 1st finger for a couple of notes, then 2nd finger. There's no rule there what you do, but it's like a chromatic line. The other thing is to, for the more advanced players in the room, I would immediately decorate that, and my first thought would be tremolos. Sounds a bit rough on the nylon string, but so I'm just kind of strumming as fast as I can on each string. So yeah, there's always little extra things you can do too. Now we're into the D minor chord and neighbour tone below again, but this time when we go to A minor, I've taken us to a higher position of the A minor chord just to create a little bit of a different colour. So here we go, these 4 bars, and up to the 7th fret. So when you do your scale work, the second page, which has the higher position A minor and A harmonic minor scale, will show you how to play through here a little bit more, but we'll just take it nice and slowly at the moment. So I'm starting on my 1st finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. This is harmonic minor. Once again, I'm starting on a note that comes out of the E7 chord. When I wrote this, I actually had all 8th notes through here, and I realized it was really hard to play, so I've taken it back to the quarter notes when the fingering gets a little bit hard, and it sounds musical as well. So if something's hard to play at 8th notes, leave a few other notes out and turn them into quarter notes. I'll do that again, and quarter notes. I've just got my little finger just going between the 11th and the 12th fret there. But you could go like a mixture of your little finger and your 3rd finger. Django only had the use of 2 fingers, so he would have done that. He would have gone up with his 1st and 2nd finger. So that would have been on the 1st string, 7th fret 1st finger, 8th fret 2nd finger, 11th fret 1st finger, 12th fret 2nd finger. So just a little bit of, different ways of looking at how you could play that. So find a comfortable fingering for yourself. Once again, these ones are hard for arthritic fingers, so you might not want to use your little finger at all. But just remember, Django never used his little finger, and he was a complete shredder. So you can just move around with your 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers and find what's comfortable for you. I'm going to go from the beginning of the line again, from the E7. and. Now a bit of A minor. And then a little harmonic minor note, and I won't get any more technical about that. And ending on an A note, and we're in the key of A, so it's got a nice finished sound about it. There you go.
Thanks for that, Jen. So as we said earlier, this is part of the solo, fast solo. So putting your time into working this out is going to pay off later on. And it sounds fantastic. So now there's a really interesting part in the solo of playing the octaves, and Jen's just going to take us through how do you do that. And my query was, how do you do this with a pick? And whoops, wrong one. Just going to hopefully explain that to us. Oh,
Okay.
do it again. Hang on. Sorry, I'll unshare and where's my charts gone? There we go. Octave drills.
Okie dokie. So when I'm doing these swags, especially for the people that have been with us all the way through the 9 weeks of the course, I like to just throw in something brand new we haven't talked about before that you might not have seen. Just a little taste of something different. So this is one of those. I thought I'm going to put in some octaves this time. I use octaves a lot in my playing. It's very much part of the gypsy jazz sound, and it adds excitement to your solos. It's one of the things you could do. You wouldn't do it all the time through a whole solo necessarily, but it really kind of lifts the sound when you hear the octaves. Okay, so having said that, this is an exercise just to practice playing them. I want you to place your first finger on the 2nd fret and your pinky, if you can do it, on the 5th fret. You could also do it with your 3rd finger, but usually we would do it with our pinky. Now, as you move from octave to octave, you keep, I'll talk about it with the little finger, with the pinky, you keep it the same. So the correct way to do it is to use you've got two open strings at the moment to get rid of. So what you can do is I'm just thinking about the guitar application, whether I want to talk about that. Now, usually you have your finger over, but that's a guitar thing, so no, I'm not going to talk about that. Okay. I'm blocking the strings I don't want to sound with the backs of my fingers. So instead of being very correct and up on the tips of my fingers, I'm breaking all the rules and I'm having lazy flat fingers. So the line, you know how when you press on the frets you get a line in the tip of your finger? My line when I'm doing octaves, it's not up there on the tip. It's like, I'll get it closer to the camera. It's round about there. So instead of having it up in the tip when I'm playing scales and things, when I'm doing octaves, it's back like that. And that means that the back of my finger can block the strings. So let's do a little experiment. Let's place our first finger on that 2nd fret of the 4th string and see if we can pluck the 3rd string and not hear it. You don't want this. That means you're pressing too hard. You don't want that. Don't want that either. That means it's too open. You want a dead sound there. So you just have to play with that angle until you get a dead sound. I'm also, instead of pushing my fingers forward, I'm letting my whole hand lay back. And then I put my pinky down, and the back of my pinky, the flesh of my pinky, is doing the same thing with the high A string, with the 1st string. So for me, this, if I go through each string, sorry, can you hear my dogs barking?
Yep.
Is it really loud?
No, it's okay.
Okay. They've come to attention. So I'll do this again. So I'm going to pluck each string twice. 4th string, 3rd string, no sound. 2nd string, top string, no sound. So that's the secret to getting the sound of the octaves. And now with my pick, it's a very light little flick. You don't want to have a heavy sound where you can hear the individual strings. You want it to be like, I think of it like a flick, or like you're flicking out a match, or I have a visual image of a dragonfly going zip, zip, zip over a pond, like little kind of flicky kind of motion. That's what I think of dragonflies when I'm using my pick. So very light, little flick. You want it to hit all 4 strings equally. You don't want to hear it dragging through the strings. A light little flick. That's the sound of the octaves with a pick. So there are other ways to play it as well. If you're playing finger style, it's really easy. Just a thumb and a finger. If you want to try hybrid, you have your pick in your hand and your pick plays the 4th string, and then one of your fingers can pluck, like at the moment I'm using my M finger, my middle finger can pluck the 2nd string. So you've got 3 ways: your finger style, hybrid, with the pick playing the 4th string and one of your fingers plucking the higher string, or a flicky light motion. And the exercise is going up and down the scale. We've got written along here, we have the A, B, C, D is the name of the note, which is getting repeated in the octave. So all down picks. Then we'll go to the B, C, D. Now we could keep going up on the 4th and 2nd strings, but instead we're stopping ourselves going too high on the ukuleles, and we're moving over to the 3rd and the 1st string sets. So for the E note, 4th and 7th frets. F, G, A. So that's a really nice way to start practicing the sound of the octaves.
Oh, and then we go back down again.
Yeah. Shall we do that? Or shall we move on?
Let's go down. Let's go down.
We'll go down? Okay. So starting from the A, we're at the 9th and the 12th frets.
When I heard Jen's solo, I heard the octave sound in it, and I was quite excited by it. It's such a different sound. So have a listen when you listen to the track, and you'll see on the charts a little bit of that octave work coming in.
By the way, with the octaves, if they're too hard to play, just play the top line of them. Like, just take it back to single notes. It'll have a similar sound. It just won't have the richness of the octaves, but it's still the same notes. So instead of going instead of doing it as octaves, you can just play them on the A string. It will musically say the same thing.
Jen, when you're playing the octaves on the C and the A string, how do you kill the G string?
I'm controlling where I've got a Jen tip. I am controlling where my pick goes to a certain extent. There's 2 other ways that you can do it. What I do, because we're playing with slightly flat fingers, I have the tip, I'll get in nice and close. The tip of my 1st finger is, instead of being in its right spot, it's touching the 4th string. So if I hit it really hard, it'll still buzz, but if I just bump it occasionally, you won't really hear it, as opposed so I just kind of have a little bit of clever blocking there. The other thing that you can do is this spare 2nd finger that's just hanging around with nothing to do can just sit lightly over it. That's more like how the guitar players do it with our 5th and our 6th string. So we use our 2nd finger to come over, and then you hit all 6 strings. and you're only playing 2 and you're blocking 4, it's actually quite hard to do. So you can use this finger to just lightly rest on it and stop it sounding, or just a little bit of a tip in, or control where your pick lands.
Great, thanks, Jen. Okay, so let's move on to our lovely diminished runs. And we'll bring up that chart. Page 16 in your swag. Here we go. You there, Jen?
Yep, okay. So, the diminished and 5/1 runs. Let me just start at the beginning with that. What does 5/1 mean? So 5/1 means that's talking about the chords that are underlying the runs. So in A minor, if we just do it in a really easy way, counting on my fingers, A, B, C, D, E. A is number 1, E is number 5. So the 5/1 run is it's called a cadence. So it's like having it's the most common kind of chord progression. So when you're on that 5 chord, it wants to take you home to 1. And so we see it in all of our songs. All of them we see that 5 to 1 progression. So we learn how to, rather than just learning how am I going to play on A minor? How am I going to play on D minor? How am I going to play on E7? Well, how about we learn how to play E7 to A minor and create a sound that goes from one chord sound to another. And it's that's what this page is all about. I'll just read out loud what I've got there. So playing diminished runs over the 5 chord, E7, gives a mysterious and dark sound to your gypsy jazz solo. That's the only reason we're learning it, because it sounds really cool and it's exotic and different. It doesn't quite fit in the scales and the normal way of thinking of things. That's what the special spicy sound is all about. Now the E7 flat 9 chord, how do I talk about this? Okay, so we know we're playing an E7 chord in minor swing. If you turn that into an E7 flat 9, it gives you the starting note for the diminished run. The most important thing I want to say here, that I probably haven't made clear enough in the past, is that E7 flat 9 and the diminished scale are the same notes. That's the link. So if we want to make the dark mysterious sound on our E7 chord, we play diminished runs over E7, and it just has the right notes in it. Because I don't want to get too technical and theory based right now, because we could spend an hour just talking about this. It's a workshop all of its own. I wouldn't mind hearing, just for the people that have been doing the course all the way along with us, can you just pop in the chat whether you understand this now, whether you feel like I've been teaching it in a clear enough way, or you've still got question marks about what this diminished and E7 flat 9 is? Like, yeah, just pop it in the chat and I'll have a look at it later, because that might affect how I teach it next time. Okay, so let's have a go at playing it. This is a diminished run, so I'm going to play the top line. It's also called an E7 flat 9 run, and it's also a diminished scale. So it's my first and my fourth finger, always my first and my fourth finger. So first of all, you get used to that. I just want to point out now, here's my E7 chord down here. I start on whatever note of the E7 chord I've got happening on the 4th string, and then I play this. That's how I know where to start it. I find my E7 chord, and then I start on whatever note my finger's on the 4th string, and that gives me the run. Now, to make it musical and not just a scale, we add patterns like we did with all the other scales. So we've got doubles with lots of different patterns we can do. We can go up in sets of 3 or up in sets of 4. They're quite hard to play, but it's a symmetrical shape. So, you know, we've got lots of different ways of going through it. Let's try exercise 1.2. This is playing the doubles, and it's very musical. And as you guys know, I've used it in all my solos, I think. So. play it with patterns. Exercise 1-3 is now taking the pattern that we just decided to do in 1-2, which was the doubles. We do 2 bars of the pattern on the E7, and then we just come down any A minor chord shape that suits us that's nearby. I just saw another blooper. It's a different A minor chord shape there. So we're not using that one because it's got open strings, and that's really hard to do. But if you can see it in the tab. So here's an example of how it sounds. Then we're going to do some A minor. We're going to do neighbour tone below on the way back down the A minor triad. And that's just one way of many. You could just come down. You know, or you could do complicated things. I sort of fluff that, but anyway, yeah, there's sort of endless opportunities of what you can do. Now in exercise 2, this is a really important thing about our diminished runs. They're symmetrical shapes, the scales and the chords, and they repeat every 3 frets. So we go, there's our E7 chord down here, go up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, we're on the 4th fret. You can see there's another E7 chord there. Some of you guys might have explored this shape. I know we played it in Sweet Georgia Brown and other songs. So I can start off on the note that's under my 4th finger. Sorry, pardon me, going too fast. On the 4th string, I start under that note, and there's my run again. And it just works again. It's just beautiful. And everything we did down in the 1st fret, we can repeat up in the 4th fret, or we could repeat it. It's getting very squishy up there, or we could repeat it up a little bit higher. I can't see my neck very well because I'm holding my ukulele up for you guys so you can see it. So, you know, I can't wash my hands, so I won't try and go up there right now. So the name of the game is to go up the diminished run for 2 bars and then come down an A minor arpeggio of a triad of some description on the next 2 bars. So let's have a look at this one. Oh, sorry, I'm one ahead of myself, aren't I? Okay, so that was just the diminished run, and then exercise 2.2 and 2.3, add those 2 ideas together. Here's our doubles pattern. Then we're coming down A minor. Back up. Very musical, like that line's just beautiful. You could use that in every minor swing solo you ever played. No, it's gold. So you've got the doubles there, but you might want some different patterns to play under under your E7 chords on your diminished runs. And the last 2 lines are just showing you some different patterns that you can use over the E7. This is the Django cliche I love to teach, where you go up, down, 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 move up 3 frets, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. On my Dark Eyes solo on our multi-screen video, that's how I started my solo, but I did it at full speed. I don't even think I could do it cold right now. Yeah, so it's kind of got this little sort of flicky kind of trick that you do, but it still sounds cool slow. There you go, that's the first one. And then I'm just showing you a few different patterns. This is the second one, and yeah, that one. Going up in a group of 4, going back a step, going back a step, and then just coming down a few notes so it doesn't get too complex. Then repeating, what have I got here? I'm doing the one in the next position up, Same idea, but up higher. Up 4, back 1. Up 4, back 1. And the last one is also starting on the 4th fret. This one I use in my solos a lot. If a song's going by really fast, this creates a bit of energy and it's not too hard to play. I'll put my uke down and I'll play it for you at speed. That's it, going by faster. Sounds as cool as all the others, and you'll find that it's easier to play when you get around to working on that one.
Thanks for that, Jen. Can I just add that
page.
Does everybody remember when we did this diminished shape in Sweet Georgia Brown solo, wasn't it, as well, Jen? And we did it in 3 positions, didn't we? Because this is a very useful little pattern. You can do it on every fret for every key. And so once you learn this, it's as in Sweet Georgia Brown, we did it in 3 different positions. So it's a great thing to know. I love the sound of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like anything that you can learn that you can reuse in different places is gold.
All right, so we're going to go through the slow group solo, which is page 17 and 18 of your swag. And we'll just ask Jen to just take us through so you get a feel for these, and maybe just explain to us, Jen, what the difference is between, we've got 2 groups of solos, and I think we freaked her out after Sweet Georgia Brown. She gave us something so hard that she's put in an extra lot of solos, this swag, which is this lot here, which aren't necessarily easier, but they're slower.
Yeah. So the intro, harmony and fill, this is not easy to play, by the way. But I felt like to make Minor Swing complete, I needed to have it in here. So I don't know if you guys have read my blurb in the icing, but basically, traditionally in the song, the part that we all love, you know, that sort of dum dum da 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 dum, the violin played that, and the guitar players played this harmony part. So you can play so this is traditionally the proper guitar part, which is therefore the proper ukulele part. Make sure someone in your group is playing the normal melody that's in the lead sheets that we've given you, in the 101 or the 201 version, before you play this. Like, it doesn't make sense on its own. You need somebody else playing the normal part. And I'll play it for you once now. Just want to talk about the fingering with these things. This comes up in the 201 as well. That's kind of normal. Here we need to play a bit more like we're mandolin players. It probably isn't a very relevant thing to say, but I'm going to put if you've got a pen there and you've got this printed out, when I get to the 2nd fret under the D minor, 2nd bar underneath the D minor chord, I place my 2nd finger on that 7th fret note. Then my 1st finger plays the 5th fret note. So I'll just hold that up again. Instead of going like this, I'm not doing that, I'm doing this. I'll play it for you slowly now. See how my hands I'm not doing that, I'm in this position. Now the reason why is I'm doing this quick little flick for the 5-3, 5-3, and these 2 fingers are busy. This one's got nothing to do. So it reaches over. That's how you get to that next spot. If you try and do it, it's really hard and clunky to jump over with the 3rd finger because it's just been doing a pull-off. So my 2nd finger reaches over. That's all I wanted to say about that. And I've written in, usually in the gaps the bass player plays, I've written the bass line in on the ukulele for you at the end of the 2nd line. I'll just do that again. So that's normally the bass player going gong 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 gong, and then the guitar comes da 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 da, and we've written in the little F7 to E7 thing with the rhythm. The direction of the strums is really key to this. So make sure you go up, down, up, down. So up, down, up. On F7, change to E7, up, down. One more time. F7. You might even just want to play that F or even just a straight F chord. Up, down, up. Then change to E7, up, down. That's the intro. Oh yeah, and also, yeah, you've got that count on the inside bit. The bass player on the original recordings just got a note and went whoop, up the neck. And then you have to count on the inside and come in on time, and that's the trick, which is really hard to do. Or you can count on the outside with your ukulele group. You can all just go, all right. Or someone can tap their foot or mark time on the body of their uke or something if you're having trouble coming in. You can help yourselves out. Group solo number 1. So just talking it through really quickly, and then we'll put the backing track on. This is just triads off the Tracy Kim page, or our page now. And by the way, just reminding you guys that I did ask Tracy for permission to use his triad page, and that was okay. So that's just to get you settled. We've got just the straight playing 2 notes on each note of the triad. Group solo 2, Anu has taken this idea a little bit further and put a few of the kind of ideas that come to her in her practice, which is really, really cool. So she's just got some nice little extensions that are different to what I might do. And then group solo number 3, this is like a typical Jen kind of solo. It's not super easy, but it is slow. So should we play?
Just note these octaves down here, huh?
Yeah. Should we not do this with the backing track? Should I just take it through slowly?
Well, do you want to just play this solo chorus for us, and then we'll go through with the backing?
Okay. Yeah. So we've got an important fingering thing here, is that I'm treating this like a travelling arpeggio. We haven't done this before, but I should have actually put some fingering underneath on the chart, so I apologise for that. My first finger plays the 2nd fret, then my first finger plays the 4th fret. So that means that after that note that I play the first note on the 2nd fret, I move up to the 4th fret. I'm in 4th position with my first finger, and all of those notes in the 4th fret my first finger plays, in the 5th fret my 2nd finger plays. Here we go. And then we're just on the A minor up to the high one. This next run is a Jen run, and it's classic Django. So 8th fret to the 4th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret. So this is a different kind of enclosure from the ones we've learnt in our course. So I've gone outside, inside. Very, very Django. And then just down the D minor arpeggio chord. This is a really beautiful classic sound as well, what we've got at the last bar. We walk down to that note that's in our A minor 6 chord.
Jen, can I just ask you a question there?
Yeah.
Do you put your 3 fingers down on those 5s? Do you play that D minor?
I don't, but if it's your only way to get through right now, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I roll. There's a special technique called rolling, your fingertip rolling, where I kind of, rather than lifting up and going to the next one, I kind of slide my, I'll do it close to there. Yeah, so I do a little fingertip roll as I go across rather than lifting up and replacing. If that's too hard, that's more of an advanced technique. I'd say feel free to leave your finger flat there.
Right.
Yeah, it's heaps easier if you just make your finger flat. Yeah. Then we've got our one of our diminished runs. And then just a little repeat of those notes to tie it to the next phrase. Chromaticism. So we're taking every fret. This is a really musical thing to do. It sounds pretty wacky on its own, but in the context it works. After that, we hop down to the little A minor arpeggio, a little bit of scale. Here come the octaves. So I'm doing down picks on these, all down picks. Now, so it's hard doing it holding my uke up so high. I'm coming back a little bit. Then the next one. Of all of those, if that's just way too hard right now, you could go. Seven, five, five, 8, 7, 5. It's still got the same musical sound. And then we've got that cliche that was at the bottom of the page. Up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And then one of Jen's favourite little arpeggios. Go 4 steps, then come back up. And then just a pretty little scale run.
Fantastic. It's beautiful. I love it. So should we, we're coming close to the end of our time together, so should we have a playthrough with the backing track? This is going to be the slow 90 BPM one, just so you get a feel for that. You know, this does start with the triad, so just to hang in there with it, just keep playing triad, the single note triad all the way through, and get practice with that.
Yeah, that's really good what Anu's saying. So hey everyone, if while this is going by, you can't play the second page and you can't play the third page, keep playing the first page over what we're playing. That's actually a kind of a nice arrangement as well. It actually sounds quite nice. It's like a contrapunctual kind of line. So I've got it loaded up here on my, now I've got it loaded up on my iTunes for this one. And I just, or do you want to, oh, no, I can't play along with you on that end, can I? Do you want me to play it?
You play it. I'll bring the chart up on screen again.
Yeah, great. Now, I don't know if the volume's enough. Can you let me know? Do you need more volume?
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just take it back. Oh, that's going to be too hard for everyone to play. Shall I just play the iReal Pro one? Or do we want to play along with this?
I think you play along with it, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Starting
I'd recommend folks that if you've got it printed out in front of you, just play the one on the 101 or the 201 lead sheet. Is that 101? Is that what we called it?
101.
I'm a bit confused with that. Yeah, on the 101 sheet. Bong, bong, bong. Yeah, if you've got that in front of you, that would be the easiest thing to get through.
Or just listening, you know, just listening is really, really important in this. It's just to get your ear kind of tuned into what you know, when you take this home and start practicing. So having just even a listen to you play, it's really good practice as well.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to head off now. 2, 3, 4. Metronome in the backing track. keep going. Stop it.
Not because that goes into the. We have left that extra fourth round.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I've brought up an earlier edit of the track by the looks of things. So,
So what do you think of that, guys? Do you think that's pretty cool? Yeah, oh, Sally's into it. Cool. Let's just get a bit of feedback from you guys. What do you reckon?
No, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do. I
It
think
was
that-
really good.
I've heard it so many times because my husband plays it, but I can tell you that there are really some Django parts in there that you can recognize.
Yeah.
yeah, good. Oh, does your husband take the arrangements and play them on guitar or uke?
He doesn't use these arrangements. My husband doesn't read music either,
Yeah. Oh, would you recognize?
but he plays gypsy jazz with with a group, and they do he listens to the Django and then plays it. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, yeah, we've reached the end of our time, but I do want to just have a quick little sing together just to cap it off, and just to let you guys know that we're going to do Sweet Sue is our next song. So we'll have to let Cam know, Hazel, that we're going to do Sweet Sue. It'll be another month. Again, I'm still on the road. I have reached Fremantle, but I haven't reached home base yet, so God knows where I'll be in a month's time. So I'll let you know. Stay with everything. We'll try and go through this again. You know how to access all these tracks now. If you don't know how to access them or you're having trouble, let me know. And the solos, Jen has already also made a solo minor swing track up that you can just work with those solos, haven't you, Jen? I believe you have.
Yeah, let me know if I haven't, and I will. I'm not sure now. There's so many pages and things.
So, it's so great to see everybody. I'm just so glad we're all hanging in here. It's, it's a lot. So we'll keep going. We've got 2 more swags to do this year. So let's finish off with a bit of a sing. Let's get Sweet Georgia Brown out. And do I have it? Oh, I do have it here. Let's have a look. All right. Actually, what I should bring up is the chord sequence for Sweet Georgia Brown, so we can see it all together. And this is our form, and we all remember that we do the A twice, which isn't written there. It's written as A, and then we go into this one and then back into the A. So the form for Sweet Georgia Brown is A, A, B, A. So I don't know how this is going to go with my lag, but shall we just go through the form and then we might just try and sing? Do you remember the words? No gal maid has got a shade on, Sweet Georgia Brown. So let's see if we can remember that, see if I can remember that. All right, so let's go through the form first, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. A7. Coming up to D7. B7, and again from the top, E7, A7, going to the E7, E minor 7, D7, E minor 7. Run from the 7th fret. I'll just check that this isn't a disaster at your end. Is it okay?
It's a little, like there was a moment, but it was okay. Let's just push it through and have a sing.
Let's have comedy. And I gave you the wrong form, didn't I? It's A. Correct me on the form, Jen?
No, it was good. That worked.
Okay. All right. Let's just have a little sing and play this time. and have a good laugh. 1, 2, 3, 4. No girl, whoops, wrong chord. 2, 3, E7. No girl mate has got a shade on. Sweet Georgia Brown. A7. 2 left feet, but also neat has sweet Georgia Brown. D7. They all sigh and wanna die for sweet Georgia Brown. Gee, I'll tell you just why. You know I don't lie. Not much. E7. It's been said she knocks 'em dead when she lands in town. A7. Since she came, why it's a shame how she cools 'em down. E minor 7. Fellas she can't get on. Fellas she ain't met. Georgia claimed her, Georgia named her sweet Georgia Brown. How was that?
Yeah, it worked. It didn't lag. Oh, not on my end.
Fantastic. We've got a few. Okay, a few. We'll answer the rest of these questions in the chat by email. Now, remember this will be up on the 201 page, this video, into a YouTube. And I'm great to hearing that people like Hazel and that are really accessing the YouTube afterwards. So it'll be about a week after the, try next Saturday up on the 201 page to get the video, the YouTube video of this session. Anybody got anything to say before we say goodbye?
Can I just ask a question, Anu, about what we just played, that last session we did on minor swing, just before we did Sweet Georgia Brown.
Yeah.
Which backing track and which sheets were we using there? Was it the group solo chorus 1, 2 and 3?
Yeah, the one we just played was the slow. So we've marked it as slow and advanced. So page 17 and 18 is the slow group solo. So there's actually 3 solos for each solo. Then the fast one, which is very fast, as we heard right at the beginning, we played the 150 BPM one. It sounds fabulous, but it's going to take us a year. That's on page 19 and 20.
I was on the wrong page, that's why I couldn't find it. And the backing track is the one that is up on the website now.
They're both up on the website. So you've got a 90-minute, 90 BPM one to practice your triads. Then you've got a 120 BPM to practice your forms. And then you've got the 90 BPM with the group solo with Jen playing, and you've got 150 BPM with the advanced group solo. So work with all of those tracks.
Could I just say one quick thing, Anu, that I didn't get a chance to mention because I was waffling about other stuff. So in the advanced group solo, guys, out of the set of 3, the second one is the mixing scales and embellishments page. And what I did for the first one was I simplified that. So if you're looking at my Sweet Georgia solo and you go, that's too hard, I can't play it that fast, what can you do there instead that's a bit simpler? So that shows you how to do that on other solos as well. So the first one is exactly the same as the second one, but with things taken out so it's more playable. And then the last one is kind of a bit difficult, but it's got things that we do when we're playing faster. So if a song's going faster, you can't necessarily get all the embellishments and neighbour tone below. So you do some different stuff, and that shows you some of the things that you can put in your bag.
Thanks, Jen. And just remember, you can slow the videos down on the cog. You can take it back 25%. And also, really important to work with your song worksheet, working them up phrase by memory, but go super slow. Put your BPM in 65. You're going to write it in really slow and work on memorizing little phrases at a time. Really important, so you can get fluid with it, and then just gradually bring your beats per minute metronome marking up. Is anybody using the song worksheet, by the way? Is it working for anyone? A couple of people are?
Yep, I am. Right.
Yeah, it's a good way to break it down. Okay, so that's it for today. It's so good to see you all again. Thanks for coming. Thanks to Jen for
Thank
another
you.
It was great.
great session.
Thanks, Anu. Thank you, Anu.
Being your student.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And well, I guess the next time I'll see you will be in Margaret River. So I will let you know from there. And all the best to everybody.
Yeah, thanks. I know that's great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Excellent. Thank you.